Good morning. Last night I was listening to a podcast on the renovation of the White House in 1952 because that's just the kind of thing that nerds like me do. And you may be aware that during the Truman administration, at one point Margaret Truman, Harry Truman's daughter's piano leg fell through one of the floors in the White House, and that is what let them know that the old white lady was really starting to show her age. It was over 100 years old, and it was just time. It was falling apart. And so the Trumans had to move out for a while, and the architects decided that they needed to do a massive renovation. So they completely gutted the house. The roof and everything in it was completely taken out. Only the walls were left standing, and they shored up the walls and made them so that they didn't have to bear any of the load of the interior, and they built a steel cage inside, and every room inside the White House now is essentially inside its own steel cage, and they renovated the White House. And the Trumans, of course, were out of it for some time before they could come back because this renovation took so long. And I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking about my house, which is back behind me, and we are in the middle of renovating a bathroom. We actually are almost finished, and as renovations often go, as they're renovating the one bathroom, they discovered that the other bathroom was leaking water into that bathroom, and so one bathroom renovation essentially became two bathroom renovations, and of course that meant that we ended up spending a lot more money than we planned to on the project. And so I'm thinking about this White House renovation, thinking about how much money it must have cost, even in 1952 dollars, to completely gut a house and then rebuild it from the inside out. And then, of course, I began thinking, well, if I completely gutted my house, so what would I want? What would I want to be different? And I thought, well, my house isn't a historic structure, and so if I had that kind of money, I'd probably just tear it down and rebuild. And so then I began thinking, well, what would I rebuild? What would I want my new house to look like? And I'm thankful that I began to realize, you know what? I really like my quirky little house. It's a weird architecture. We kind of call it the Brady Bunch house. It was built in 1972. It kind of has that feel. It's smaller than the house that we had when we lived in South Carolina, and we actually like that because we found that there's less that we have to keep up and take care of. There's a few little things inside that we would certainly want to change, but for the most part, I'm thankful. I don't need to tear that house down and rebuild it, and I'm thankful that I was able to get to that sense of gratitude. In the Gospel of Luke, we have a story where Jesus heals 10 lepers. He's walking along, he sees these 10 lepers, he's on his way to Jerusalem, and he heals them. He doesn't ask them, do they want to be healed? It isn't a really dramatic thing, except that he simply says, go and show yourselves to the priests, and instantly they are healed. And 9 of them are so excited, and they rush off, probably, to show themselves to the priests, and then to find their families and to celebrate with their families. The thing they thought would never happen has just happened. They have been healed and cured. And the 10th one runs off, but then he comes back, and he falls down at Jesus' feet, and he worships Jesus. And Jesus asks, where are the other 9? Were not 10 healed? I think that we can understand that the other 9 were just so excited. Were they grateful? Of course they were grateful. But they were so excited. The thing that they wanted so badly and thought would never happen had just happened. And so they rush off to find their families, to resume their lives. And yet we do have to look at that one who came back and was grateful and commend him. And I think Lent is a time for us to be so aware of all of the things that God has given us. One of the reasons that we can give something up during Lent is we have the luxury of being able to give something up, and that gives us the opportunity to be thankful for the things that God gives to us. The other Lenten disciplines that we do are opportunities for us to be thankful, but I also think there's one more step we have to take. Sometimes on Thanksgiving, we are so thankful for this huge table full of food, but it makes us almost a little greedy, or makes us not aware of those around us who maybe cannot have a table full of food like that. And I think the next step from gratitude is to use the things that we're grateful for in the service of the Lord. And that can be things that bring us great joy. I just got a call yesterday from Welcome Home Chattanooga, and some of you will know that is essentially a hospice house for people who have no other home, who have no place else to go. And it's a place for people to come, just like any hospice, and be able to die in dignity, surrounded by people who care for them, rather than, as often happens, them dying underneath a bridge or someplace else. And they called me and they said that they have a patient who is still fairly healthy, but he's definitely coming to the end of his life, and earlier in his life, he rode horses lots, and he would like to ride a horse just one more time. Is there any way that he could come up here to our house and ride a horse? And oh, my heart just leapt, because that's what I want this place to be. I want to be able to use this place for things like that. How wonderful is it that I get to be a part of that story? And so, of course, I said they could, and they're going to come up next week, and we're going to make this happen, and I'm looking forward to it. And I tell you that not as a way of bragging, but as a way of saying that when we are grateful for the things that we have, rather than when we're looking for what's the next best thing, I think it gives us the better opportunity to take that next step and also share the things that we have. And so I invite you on this Lenten day to figure out what are some of the things that you are truly, truly grateful for, and then ask the Lord, how can I use them to serve you? And who knows, the phone may even ring today and you get that opportunity, or you may have to do a little more effort than I had to do, and you may have to go out and seek ways that you can share the things that you are grateful for. But when we do that, we increase the joy for everyone. And so I invite you to do that this day, and I invite you to do that because, and of course only because, God is with us. Thanks be to God. Amen.